Hey everybody, it's your old pal, the Naked Bigfoot. Let's see. Well, I've gone from sleeping all night to sleeping all day, staying awake all night, and now I stay awake all day and I start to sleep all night. It's a weird experience. I'm laying down, by the way, for those who are wondering why the weird camera angle. I just wanted to come on and run my mouth for a few minutes about things I find interesting. For those who have never known anyone to experience um, organ failure or renal failure or kidney disease, it takes a while. It takes a while for the toxins in your bloodstream to build up. You can feel it. You get tired. You get really, really tired at the strangest times. Um, it's an odd experience. There's not a lot of pain. Um, for those of you who are wondering, there's not a lot of pain at all. Um, well, I take that back. Um, fuck, I can't think. I have a issue thinking straight tonight, so that's probably from said toxins building up in my bloodstream. It's slow. It's really, really slow. Slower than I thought it would be. But at the same time, it's longer than I thought it would be as well. Oh, I was telling you about pain. Um, the only pain I feel are every one of my joints, from my wrist to my elbow to my sockets to my knees, the joints of my fingers and my joints on my feet, on my toes, they hurt. Um, one of the things the doctor gave us to help with it, um, just for those who are curious about it, it's a cream. Um, it's a prescription strength cream that you can rub into your joints that helps with the pain. It doesn't get rid of it completely, but it does help with it. Um, I don't walk well anymore. I don't walk at all, actually. It's it's um it's an odd feeling losing mobility. Um, for those who have never experienced it before, I've always been a fiercely independent creature. So, to have to depend on other people, even if it's family, um, it's it doesn't sit well with me at all. Um, I'm supposed to be the one out there helping them. They're not supposed to be the ones helping me. My daughter is losing her mind by degrees. She has moved back to the house um, to be closer to me. And she comes in every day and asks me if there's someplace I want to go. It's an odd question, I always thought. She, I think she thinks that if I move around, um, it's probably my fault. Um, I told I've told I've always educated my kids and brought them up. I brought them up a lot of how I was brought up, to be you be honest with your kids about everything, and we've talked about death and dying when they were kids, and most kids have questions about death and dying, and I had to tell them one time, several times actually, different times, different situations, that death is stillness. Death is when everything. By the way, my teeth hurt too. Um, but they don't make a cream for your teeth to make that stop to dull that pain. I told them about death is stillness. It is something that is stationary. It's when it's the opposite of life. Life is full of movement and transition. Death is a state of standing still, and the world becomes still around you. And I think she thinks about that when she asks me if I want to go anywhere. She wants me to get out of the bed, and they tote me outside and put me in a chair or on a bench or something. But I don't like I don't like touching the ground right now. I used to enjoy walking barefoot through the dirt and the grass. You could feel the the life of the land around you, and through your toes and through your feet. It moves up through your feet, through your legs, and into your body, through your chest, and when it touches your heart, it just invigorates you. Feeling the life around you pulsate around you. When I came home, I oh that hurt. Yeah, I have the TV on in the bedroom without any sound on it. It gives a little bit of light when I'm in here, so it doesn't seem so dark all the time. Where was I? I realized something was wrong when I came home, and I fell um, trying to walk myself across the yard to the house. When my hands made contact with the dirt and with the grass, I felt nothing at all. I didn't feel that. I know, my eyes look weird, don't they? My skin's beginning to get lesions on my skin. So, like I said, my skin's starting to flake off, getting to look like some kind of universal monster. So, I've been avoiding touching the ground since then. I wasn't accustomed to that feeling of disconnection with the life around me, and the disconnection with the earth was gone, severed, completely severed. And I didn't want to tell her that then. I didn't want to feel that again. That nothing. That I couldn't feel the world around me speaking to me anymore. It felt like the world has been pulling away from me. I know I didn't come on tonight to bitch and moan, so I just figured I would give you all a quick update. Like I said, it's very slow, much slower than I expected. But I wanted to tell you about some of my dreams as of late. They've been fascinating, actually. Like I said, I've gone to sleeping through the. I've gone through different cycles of sleeping through the night and staying awake all day, or sleeping all day and sleeping and staying awake all night. I think tonight might be a combination of the two. um, that should be interesting. But while I slept, my dreams were fascinating. They were very, I don't want to say vibrant. I should use the word vivid. It's a better explanation of my dream. Safe. At one point, I, my dreams always took place here inside the house. Um, Most times it took place inside the house. Where the last one that I had, the house was I was walking through the house. I was dressed in a. The only thing I had on was a white caftan, ceremonial caftan. Don't ask me to explain that. It's a very liberating garment for those who know about that. And the house that was I thought was empty. The dream wasn't in black and white at all. At first, I thought I was dreaming in black and white, but what actually was going on was that everything in the house was in black and white, was painted black and white and shades of gray. It was the more interesting of dreams that I had had. Mm. It everything was there was nobody in the well I didn't as I walked through the house I could hear my family talking but I couldn't see them. I they were invisible but I could hear them having conversations about me. I wasn't sure if it was a dream or not. It could have been I was definitely asleep. So it had to have been some kind of dream, but it may not have been a normal dream. But I could hear all the activity that was going on in the house and the conversations that were being held. But I couldn't see any of the people that were having the conversations. And when I opened up I had to leave the house. Now, as I was walking through and listening to all the family members talk, I could hear, I could look out the window, and everything out the window was painted, and it was daytime, but everything was again in black and whites and grays. But the sun was up, obviously, and everything was illuminated from the sun. When I opened up the door, it wasn't sunny outside anymore. It was nighttime, pitch black nighttime. In the sky above me, the moon shone, but it wasn't in white or black. It was blood red, the moon was. Uh, and for some reason, I held up my hands to look at my hands. And my hands looked like, on this blood red moon that was shining down, made my hands look like they were covered in blood. From the moonlight. And some primal instinct told me not to step outside, not to go any further. And I shut the door. I listened finally to my instincts, and I shut the door for once. And when I did that, I woke up. When I shut the door, my eyes opened and I was wide awake again. Like I said, it was a weird dream. It was an odd dream. Another dream is this one was a slightly more terrifying. Um, it felt terrifying, but you won't think it's terrifying when I told you what happened. I fell asleep and I woke up in our greenhouse. See, our greenhouse is sectioned off, where we have our private collection of plants that we raise, and our greenhouse is fucking huge. And we have the grow house part of it, which is also the retail section that we sell plants out of. We have the planting area, and then we have the private area where we grow our selection of exotics and tropicals. I have an extensive collection of epiphytic cacti. What's an epiphytic cacti, you may ask? It's a tropical cactus, for those who don't know what a tropical cactus is. Yes, cacti are just not found in are not found in deserts. They can be found in jungles too, especially in South America, Indonesia, and parts of China. They can be found as canopy plants. They grow on trees, uh, and that's what the word epiphytic means. It means it grows without soil. And I have a huge collection of South American epiphytic cacti, also known as orchid cactuses because of the way they bloom. And I woke up, I was standing in the middle of all my epiphytic cacti. And my little ghost girl was there with me. And as always, she spoke to me without moving her mouth. And she asked if I wanted to see something beautiful today. I mean, who would refuse to say they didn't want to see something beautiful? And I said, sure, I would love to see something beautiful today. And then she went about the grow room and touched each one of my epiphytic cacti. And when she touched each one of them, they suddenly had blooms growing out of them. And they were all blooming around me. See, most epiphytic cacti only bloom at night. So unless you're awake at night, and I'm talking about late at night, unless you're awake at night, you miss the blossoms opening. You usually have to catch them first thing in the morning before they close and then drop off, because they're only open for one night and then they lose their flowers. But the colors are spectacular and their scents are just amazing. And she was letting me see all my cactus in bloom, my epiphytic cactus in bloom one more time. And I could remember this when I woke up from that dream. I could still smell the cactus scents around me in the bedroom. I could smell the cactus scents like it actually happened. And that scent, my wife commented on it when she walked into the room to see how I was doing. I could tell she could smell something in the room. And I looked at her and I must have been smiling. And she said, you know, it smells like one of your night blooming cerisuses. Because I have uh, one of our epiphytic cacti is a night blooming cerise. And it creates ginormous blooms that smell amazing, intoxicating scents. And she told me that she could smell it in the bedroom. She said, I didn't think we had any of the cactus out of the greenhouse in here. And she looked around and realized that there weren't any cacti in the room with me here. But I explained to her what I had just got done dreaming, and she didn't take it well. She cried. She understood the implications of the dream. That my little girl wanted to show me the cactus in bloom one more time and experience them one more time. She understood that without me having to explain it to her. And that scent stayed here in the bedroom for the entire day. It was quite fascinating. I had some visitors throughout the day that commented on the smell when they came in the bedroom. They didn't smell the normal smell, which is the smell of sickness and old piss. Being honest with you, at least that's what it smells like in here normally. It's sickness and old piss. Can't get that smell out. But instead of that smell, they could smell that night blooming cereus when they came in the entire day. I thought that was fascinating. I thought you guys would like to hear that. My, oh, fuck me. Did I tell you that that cream they gave me for the pain in all my joints didn't get rid of the pain? It just dulled it. But every once in a while it goes from dull to I wish somebody would hack my fucking legs off because of the pain. Oh, but if that's the only pain that I'm feeling, that I guess that falls into the good things category, doesn't it? Oh, the thumbnail that I chose for this. I've been, call me morbid. um, One of my favorite. Everybody doesn't know that about me. I love Japanese anime. I love Japanese horror anime in particular. Um, and one of the things I recommend, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I posted something on there with a little girl with red eyes and a kimono holding down her arm, and all of these flowers or peonies are flying off of her kimono at the screen. That character's name is I Enma. Um, it's from a anthology anime. It's called Hell Girl. It has nothing to do with Hellboy. But just to take a minute, that's if you're wondering what the face is for the thumbnail for me for this live tonight, that's what it is. Is a picture of I Enma. Well, in the series, the Hellgirl series, you can go online if you feel that somebody has offended you gravely and you wish to seek revenge, not justice. If you want revenge on them for something they've done to you, you can type their name in to a website called Hell Communications. And the next night, Hellgirl, I Enma, appears to you and she makes a deal with you. She gives you a little straw doll with a red piece of twine wrapped around it. And she tells you if you choose the path of revenge, all you have to do is pull that string off of that doll, and she will take whoever is the object of your revenge. She'll take them straight to hell. But there's a cost, there's always a price to pay. If you choose to do that, to accept the contract and pull the string off the doll, then you yourself, you'll live a normal life. But when you die, your soul also goes to hell as well. But you won't die right away when you do it, but you will be condemned. You've condemned yourself to hell by doing that. But that is, like she explains to them, that is the price of revenge. Um, like I said, it's an anthology series, and it's so fucking spooky and scary. It's a bunch of truly bad people who get what's coming to them. Um, it's a rough series to watch because she won't come to take that person until that person finally admits their sin, what they've done, to cause pain and anguish. And once they do that, she appears and tells them, um, "You're going to go to hell." She'll look at him and say, "Perhaps it is time to die," and you die, and you go to sleep. It's like you black out, but you wake up and you're in a ferry. She's in a boat, and it's being rowed by Enma, and usually the person is freaking out when they realize what's going on, and they say, "What's going on? What's going on? Where are you taking me?" And she simply says this to them. She says, "This is revenge, so I must take you to hell." And that's how the episode ends, of her ferrying people to hell afterwards to be tormented and punished in hell. It's a fantastic series if you ever get a chance to watch it. It's not for kids, okay? It's not for kids. Um, there was only one episode that really bothered me, really stuck with me. Uh, it was where a girl was jealous of a little girl, of a much younger girl, because of the way people treated her. Uh, they treated her nicer than they treated her, so she made the deal with Enma to get rid of her. So the little girl didn't deserve to go to hell, but since the deal was made and Enma has to honor the contract once it's made, she had to take this poor innocent girl to hell. But she did appear to the girl that did it and says, "You will, that have accepted the contract and fulfilled it. So you too will go to hell as well." And she placed a mark on the forehead of the girl where it was a kanji, a character on her forehead. So anybody who looked at her when she was about would know what she did. They'd see that mark on her forehead and they would know what she did. And they would know where she was going when she died. So there was a little bit of justice that was meted out. But yeah, that was a tough episode to watch. But it's very well written, very well. See, not all anime or animated series are for kids. Hellgirl is not for kids at all, unless you're trying to traumatize the kids that are watching it. So I strongly recommend that you watch it. Now in later seasons, they give you the backstory behind Enma. She used to be a human being until her village buried her alive. It's a long story, but I strongly suggest that you watch it if you want to see something interesting. It's a great Halloween watch since we're so close to Halloween now. Let's see what else I can think of right now. I don't know. Oh, it can be when everybody's asleep in the house at night and you can't sleep. It is absolutely. I never understood what the term alone meant until I couldn't get out of bed, until I lost my mobility. And the house was silent. No sounds, except for maybe my fan blowing or something like that. Some mechanical sounds. How lonely it can be being in a house like this. This house is too big any damn way. For the size family that me and my wife started, this house is way too fucking big for that. But it is what it is, so. I know. I had to pause there for a minute. I'm sorry. I am really, really tired. I might actually sleep tonight. Wouldn't that be interesting? To actually sleep. Get very, we get very Shakespearean, perchance to dream, but dreams may come. I've always been fascinated by, oh, I apparently I mentioned on Twitter the word druid, which is Drude. For those who don't know what a druid is, God, I had such a fascinating story about druids. I had the opportunity to hunt a druid one time. It's one of the few times I actually hunted something in an effort to try to kill it or quote unquote exercise it. But a druid is it's a dramatic, malevolent spirit that it doesn't have its own form. When a druid takes a form, it's usually of a lesser creature, like a fly or a mouse or a rat, um, or a snake or something like that. And what a druid does, it'll it'll pick a family, and it'll pick somebody out of the family to dwell within. And this is where it gets gross, just to let you know. We're not talking about a spiritual possession where a spirit, enters a body. No, the druid takes on the form, assumes the form of, like I said, a mouse. Say, let's use mouse for an example, or a fly, or a lizard. But it needs a home to dwell in when it's not being active and causing mischief and death and misery. So what it does is it'll crawl through into the ear or the mouth or even the ass. They usually go down the throat, and they take up residence inside of a human host. Remember, these things are just evil. They're so malevolent. While they're dwelling within that person, they actually will change the nature and personality of that person. If they were a sweet and loving person, they'll slowly become cruel and vicious, and they'll take great um, they'll take great joy out of hurting other people around them, especially their family members or friends, while the druid is dwelling within them. You know, the druid will exit their body, usually through the mouth. They'll come out of the mouth to spread diseases and pain and misery throughout the household. They'll kill the livestock. They'll kill pets. Um, they'll make children sick, and they do this by biting them or scratching them, depending on what form they've taken. And they'll spread the most virulent of plagues and diseases. But before the sun comes back up, they'll go back to their host and climb back into them through their mouth or their ass or their ears or their nose. And when they do that, that person wakes up with no knowledge of what happened. And there are two ways to kill a druid. Um, is right well, three ways actually, when you think about it. Right when it's about to re enter its host, right when it's left its host, or while it's dwelling within its host, and you kill the host while the druid is inside of them. So, you can imagine many people who thought that be the having their body being the dwelling of a druid back in the Dark Ages. How many women and men and children were hung in order to kill the druid that was dwelling within them. They suspected of dwelling within them. But that's what a druid is. And you've heard me say before that when we had immigrants coming to the New World here in the United States, they brought with them their beliefs and customs and stories. But they also brought with them the creatures, the darkness, the things that lived in their nightmares with them as well. They brought them here to settle in the new land with them. And they grew and thrived as those families grew and thrived and spread across the United States. So, so you have to think when we have immigrants, we had the great migration of immigrants to the United States. It just wasn't them that they brought. They brought, we United States is a paranormal melting pot when you think about it. Um, for those of you who want to use that phrase, just give me credit for it. Paranormal. The United States is a paranormal, supernatural melting pot with all these cultures and beliefs that are all brought together here, and the different lives they brought with them when they came here. It's fascinating, completely fascinating. Well, guys, just I'll cut it short. I just wanted to touch base with everybody and share a little info about what's going on, and do my best to be entertaining. So, have a great night. Have a safe and sane Halloween. I know that's coming up soon. I used to love Halloween. I will truly miss that. I truly miss Halloween. So, alrighty, guys. Have a great night.